Hi guys and welcome to a new video. This is the start of a new series. I thought it would be a cool idea to read every page of Harry Potter and give my grain of salt if I have one and just drop some Potter knowledge I acquired over the years. Just say anything that comes to my mind. Okay, let's go. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. I think it's great to have this as the first paragraph because it sets so much contrast to what we're going to experience in the course of the next 7 books. Because you start with these people who are as ordinary as humanly possible, and then you get to like Harry Potter chasing Lord Voldemort and stuff like that. It's really a good beginning because it sets not the tone but the opposite of the tone, you could say. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. Also, like, making drills is like the most basic thing you could do, like the most solid thing you could say. It's just so Dursley-ish. He was a big beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. I think in the movies she actually had black hair, if not it was like very dark brown, but she was definitely not blonde. But she doesn't really resemble Lily if you come think about it, because she doesn't have ginger hair. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister, because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as un-Dursleyish as it was possible to be. Having this as one of the first paragraphs really builds the tension and makes you excited for what's coming, because you start out extremely normal and then you get a glimpse of, okay, something's not right, and you just naturally want to read further and just discover this mystery. The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbors would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they'd never even seen him. The boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. Yeah, basically that's what they got in the end, and I think they weren't too thankful for it. And that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me all about your opinions in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you next time on Percival. Keep it magic.